What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the Great League Remix Cup, which is finally coming back. This is by far my favorite meta for the Great League. Last season we didn't have it, unfortunately, so this season we do, and it's coming out later today. Well, obviously depending on when you're watching this video, it could already be out. And what this cup does is it bans the top 20 Pokemon used by trainers between the ranks of Ace and above. So that is going to be Ace to Legend, so 2,000 rating to Legend, which is however high the leaderboards gets. Now, we're going to talk about the Pokemon that are banned, give you guys an idea of those Pokemon that you can't actually use, which is unfortunate, and then we're going to be diving into some of the strongest Pokemon for this cup and strongest Pokemon and maybe some team ideas that you guys can use as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so we have 20 bans here. And from my initial overlook of these bans, I feel like this was from 2 seasons ago instead of 1. And that is going to be for a big reason. I don't see Superior on here. Superior was by far one of the most popular Pokemon used last season, but apparently it didn't make this list. So you guys can agree or disagree with me. Noctowl is here as well. We don't see Gligar here. So this really tells me this list was not taken from last season, because Gligar and Superior were everywhere last season. But what we do have is a ban to Alolan Sandslash, Alolan Ninetales, Wigglytuff, Noctowl, and Lantern. Azumarill, Umbreon, Pelipper, Sableye, Medicham, all those make sense. Altaria, Registeel, Defense Form, Deoxys, Bastiodon, Toxicroak, those do make sense. Medicham's up here, yep. Scrafty, Galarian, Stunfisk, Greninja, Talonflame, and Trevenant. So from this list, I honestly think Noctowl should be replaced with Gligar, and Trevenant should be replaced with Superior. Then from there, I think this looks actually okay. I know a lot of people may say, well, maybe Scrafty and Greninja weren't that popular, but I know people love and swear by these Pokemon, so maybe that is the case. But honestly, I think this is from 2 seasons ago and not 1. Now, if we head over to pvpoke.com, we'll be able to check out the rankings here. Let me adjust this real quick. There you guys can see, pvpoke. This is a fantastic website, the one-stop shop for everything Go Battle League. There is battle simulations, rankings, team building, everything you guys need to know. Now, when we take a look at the meta for the Great League Remix Cup, which is seen here, you guys can filter by whatever league you want to look at. We see a common trend here. A lot of basically flyers, anti-flyers, and anti-anti-flyers. The holy trinity basically for Go Battle League. So we got Skarmory, Carbink, Mandibuzz, and Gligar. Obviously Gligar has been very popular. It was the strongest flyer last season. It got knocked down a peg this season because Skarmory got an update with its Steel Wing, which is still very strong, and Mandibuzz is up here as well. Now, 2 Pokemon that I want to talk about that are going to be pretty dominant on this rotation is obviously going to be Vigoroth and Poliwrath, both Shadow and normal Poliwrath, but Shadow just packs that extra punch, if you know what I mean. And that's due to the moveset. So maybe you guys were unaware, but Counter and Body Slam has been the typical moveset that we have seen, but it did get access to Rock Slide this season, and Rock Slide allows it to have key coverage against flyers, such as Skarmory, Mandibuzz, and some of those ice types like Abomasnow. And with Poliwrath, it got 2 updates. The first is it got access to the charge move Icy Wind. Before it didn't have that. Before it had Ice Punch, which is still good coverage. Medicham does use that, but Icy Wind is far superior when it comes to the effects, the lasting effects that it has on the actual gameplay for your whole team. And then Scald got a buff as well. So that is just doing good. Having access to counter. Now, you guys have seen me use a Mudshot variant. Poliwrath, basically what I have is I have a non-Shadow, so a normal Poliwrath with Mudshot, and then my Shadow Poliwrath has counter. And that's because the Shadow counter Poliwrath just performs that bit better, just that much better. And Mudshot I like using as a safe swap sometimes on normal because you have you don't take as much damage, right, because of the shadow not being applied to you, which is minus 20% more damage taken. And then we can gain energy quicker with Mud Shot and get to Scalds and Icy Winds a lot faster. So that's my setup that I have. I've seen questions about that in the YouTube comments. All right, another Pokemon, Abomasnow here. Abomasnow has been actually doing pretty well. We saw a massive increase this season in dragons being used, specifically Shadow Dragonair got a massive upgrade in terms of what it can cover because of what got buffed, right? With Powder Snow, Weather Ball, and Energy Ball, you could also run Icy Wind there. I'm not sure what is going to be better. I feel like the Icy Wind could pay off more for team synergy, but Weather Ball is still very, very good. I mean, you obviously want to have the Energy Ball and you want to run Powder Snow as the fast move. But the reason why I think Abomasnow could be a great core breaker for this meta is because of its ability to handle the Flyers, the Dragons, and the Mud Boys, which are going to be very common. And even on the back end, so a Poliwrath and a Vigoroth, a Shadow Abomasnow's Energy Ball is going to hit like a truck. So if you have yourself aligned or you have energy, you're going to do so much damage on the back end to these Pokemon. As we go through, you can see that the meta is, I mean, there's some very similar Pokemon that are performing well, like Lickitung, Swampert. I don't think you guys are going to see anything too, I mean, you could see some crazy stuff, obviously. We go down the list and you could see some wild things in this cup because it is that fun meta where the top Pokemon are banned. But the Pokemon that are still here are very good that people have built up this season. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like a Skarmory, a Swampert, or a Whiscash paired with a Poliwrath safe swap. That would be pretty common, especially with Lantern being banned. Remember, we do have our ban list. Lantern is one of those Pokemon where it core breaks the Poliwrath and the Skarmory core. But now with it gone, there's really not a strong core breaker there for that combination that was as dominant as Lantern was. So I imagine we're going to see some very, very similar team compositions that you guys are used to seeing in the Open Great League, just without the better core breaker answers to it, which could be a good or bad thing depending on what side of the fence you land on for that matchup. As we go down a bit, another Pokemon you guys may want to kind of take a look at is going to be Cresselia. I know a lot of you may not have it because it does require you to trade under 1500, or I believe a long time ago in a time far, far away when we used to actually get legendaries from the weekly box. That was a good time. Psycho Cut, Grass Knot, and Future Sight. You still do well against some of the Flyers. You beat the fighters, obviously, so Poliwrath, and you can hit a lot of neutral damage. Now, you could also have Moonblast instead of Future Sight. Grass Knot is Legacy, and I think it is worth having Grass Knot on there because it's just going to give you so much coverage to stuff like Jellicent, Whiscash, Poliwrath, Lantern, Azumarill. It's very, very nice, and with the lack of stuff like Registeel and Bastiodon, which are typically something hard that Cresselia can't take down, you have more softer matchups. I know Skarmory can be a bit hard, but something like Guzzlord and Mandibuzz, for example, these are the two hardest counters in the top meta Pokemon for Cresselia. But you got to remember, Cresselia has access to Moonblast, so you could run Grass Knot and Moonblast, and all of a sudden, boom, you have one-shot or near one-shot coverage for these Pokemon, depending on the health. I think Guzzlord having the Dark Dragon typing is definitely going to get one-shot, but Mandibuzz is going to be a big chunk there, so that's just something to consider if you guys haven't built one already. There's a lot of other good Pokemon here. I mean, there's so many. I mean, if you guys haven't built your Dugong, now is a great time, right? Lantern's out, so you cover a lot of Pokemon. You have to watch out for, like, Poliwrath, Jellicent, Vigoroth, but you can still do well. You can still debuff them. You can hit them for Drill Run. You will need the Legacy moves. I know it's got a lot of moves here, but you want Ice Shard. Do not go for Frost Breath. That is a bad fast move. Ice Shard Legacy, Icy Wind Legacy, and then throw on that Drill Run, and you're going to be good to go. This is by far one of my favorite metas to play in, just because, well, we don't see Bastiodon. Actually, we might. Oh, no. I'm not going to speak it into existence. But we may not see a specific team quite often, but we may see a variant to that team, which could be just as annoying to deal with or as fun to play, depending on how you look at it. If you guys know what team I'm talking about, you can let me know down in the comments. It's been a fan favorite or a fan hated for a long time. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff here that you guys can use. I encourage you, as you go through, kind of think about what you want to play. Think about one Pokemon that you can go with. So maybe you want to build off of Abomasnow, for example. But don't necessarily go off of the top stuff. You know, give some other stuff a try. This is the time to try out what do I have in my Pokebox, or Pokebox, your bag. What do you have in your inventory that you could give a try, like Skeledirge. Really strong Pokemon in the Open Great League. It's ranked 53 in this meta, but do not sleep on it because it can just do so well. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this Remix Cup meta. Are you guys excited that it's back, or do you not like that it's back? Do you guys agree with me that this meta that we see here, these Pokemon, are from 2 seasons ago and not 1? So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Good luck in your battles, and I will be getting my own battles tomorrow morning because rotation happens for me at nighttime. So like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.